In 2008, 2 million more Hispanics showed up to vote at polling booths across the nation than had done so in the previous election. Today, Latinos make up roughly 1/4 of Nevada's population, enough to determine the outcome on November 2nd. So why is a group of Latinos sending this message?
Don't vote this November. This is the only way to send them a clear message. You can no longer take us for granted. Don't vote.
Joining me now, live from Charlottesville, Virginia, is the president of Latinos for Reform, Robert De Posada. Robert, why are you telling Latinos not to vote?
Well, I think you're focusing right now on the headlines and not looking at the substance of that ad and the substance of the campaign. Because the substance of the campaign is basically saying, look, 2 years ago they promised us that in 1 year we were going to have immigration reform, and nothing has happened, not even a vote in a single subcommittee in Congress. And I think Democrats need to be paying for that betrayal that they did to Hispanics. And what we're telling Latinos is those elected officials who did not come through with their promises, you should not be voting for them on election day. We're not telling them not to vote at all. We're just telling them don't vote for those people who did betray you.
Do you think John McCain betrayed Latinos by flip-flopping, completely changing his position on comprehensive immigration reform?
I think he started to acting irresponsibly like most of the Republican Party and most of the Republican officials have been doing. But at the same time, we cannot just focus on the irresponsibility of the Republicans when the Democrats have had full control of Congress, full authority to bring this issue up for a vote, and they have done absolutely nothing. They're playing with 10 to 12 million people. The president today called our campaign that we were being a little crazy. But the fact is that, he went to 10 to 12 million undocumented workers and told them, I will take care of you. And in 2 years, he has done absolutely nothing. And the Democratic leadership in Congress has done nothing. And they need to go back to those voters now, and they're offering more empty promises. And what we're asking them is, let's make them pay for their mistake. Let's make us respect us and not demand that we're going to be voting for them every time they come to us.
Now, the League of United Latin American Citizens is a much bigger organization than yours, LULAC. We reached out to their national executive director today, Brent Wilkes. He issued this statement to us today in reaction to your ad. We've been working for years to increase the Latino vote. I am shocked and outraged that Robert De Posada would release these ads. It's a cynical effort that is designed to get Sharon Engel elected in Nevada. Now, Robert, you used to work at the Republican National Committee. So this is really
20 years ago, yeah.
It's really all about suppressing the Latino vote to help elect Republicans, isn't it? This is just a Republican
It's about
charade.
making people accountable. No. It's about making people accountable for their promises. And that's what we're not doing right here. You're focusing on something 20 years ago in my career. Right now, we're trying to make sure that people start respecting the Latino voters, that people stop taking us for granted and telling us that we have no option but to vote for the people who are promising everything every 2 years and then ignore us when they go to Washington.
How long ago are you saying that you worked for the Republican National Committee? When's the last time you worked for them? Huh?
1989 to 1992.
Your treasurer, Juan Carlos Benitez, is a Republican lobbyist.
Right.
Okay. You're a Republican organization. You did an anti-Obama ad in 2008. Have you ever done an ad in favor of a Democrat?
Oh, I mean, we have actively campaigned for Democrats many times when I was the head of the Latino Coalition. So, yes, we have done a lot of work for Democrats in the past, and as well as Republicans. I don't hide the fact that I'm a conservative. At the same time, I'm registered independent because I'm ashamed of what a lot of the Republicans are doing right now.
So you didn't vote for Barack Obama, right? You're a conservative. You did not vote for Barack Obama. So how could you be betrayed by a candidate that you did not vote for, did not support?
Because after the election, as a conservative analyst, I did not attack Barack Obama. I gave him the time to really come through and help our people, and I was very, very supportive of his initial steps. But the fact is, when he stopped doing anything, when he basically ignored the issue, when they decided not to address the issue at all at any level of Congress, that's when we became, and it was not only me, many officials and many grassroots organizations across the country that are supporting us in this effort are outraged at the fact that they've completely ignored our people.
There's no one else. Robert, there's no one else supporting you in this effort. There are no other Latino organizations on board with this. They are opposing you. They are trying to get the Latino vote out. This is a completely phony Republican thing you're listening
to a group of leaders in Washington, D.C. who depend on access to the White House. The fact is, in many organizations across the country, down to grassroots, Hermandad Mexicana,
just to get this straight, were you employed by the Republican National Committee in 2007 as their Latino outreach coordinator? In 2007.
Oh, no.
There's no record of you working for the Republican National Committee in 2007?
Not at all. I haven't worked for them since 1992.
All right. Well, 1992. All right. We gotta get your resume straightened out on that. Harry Reid had something to say about your ad today and Sharon Engel's reaction at a rally in Nevada today. I guess we don't have that ready. We had a clip of Harry Reid talking about your ad. He finds it outrageous, needless to say. In a democracy, Robert, for you to say to people they should not vote, how can that come from anything other than an attempt to suppress a particular vote?
No. You have to look at the substance, and you have to listen to the ad instead of just looking at the headlines.
The ad says don't vote. What else do you want them to think? That you're saying don't vote.
The fact is that we say if those people who did not do anything for immigrants in the past 2 years should not count on our vote. That's what the ads specifically say.
Your ad attacks only Democrats. That's what your ad does. It's targeted toward Latino voters.
Look at the Spanish version of the ad.
But Robert, the English version of the ad is the one that counts because that's the one that's aimed at voters. The English version of the ad, you know that all Latino voters can speak English. That's the one you targeted at them.
You need to start listening to your staff because we address this to your staff.
Yes, I know your Spanish language one, the phony one that no one sees includes that. You know that in order to become a voter in this country, you have to be able to speak English.
The only ad that was on the air was a Spanish ad, so you obviously have no idea what you're talking about.
Robert De Posada, we're going to have to leave it there. This is obviously a fraudulent Republican attempt to suppress the Latino vote in Nevada. It is a completely
Start listening to Latino voters on the ground, and you'll realize that they are outraged.
All right, we're not hearing the outrage from anybody but you, and it is a phony Republican outrage. Robert, thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll let people go to the website and look at the ads.
And the Spanish version ad, too, please.
Spanish version, too. We'll get them both up there.